Hi, everybody. Welcome to Discover College Soccer. Today, I am lucky enough to be joined by Coach Kennet Fosuhene, also known as Coach K, the Coach K that actually is still coaching now. So we're happy to have him here from LaGrange in Georgia. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you for having me. Really
Uh,
appreciate it.
Thanks for being here. Well, we'll talk about the school here in a second because I'm sure there's folks out there who aren't familiar with LaGrange, but let's talk a little bit about the recruiting side of things for you. You've got now almost a full year under your belt there at LaGrange. So when it comes to your recruiting process, when are you starting to look at players? I know you come from a JUCO background, so you were recruiting all the time because it's just, it's a lot harder, constant turnover and graduation and whatnot. But now that you're at a D3 school, what's kind of your timeline, your process of when you start kind of a recruiting class and wrap it up?
So this first year was a little different for me, having coming so late. So this year I solely worked on the senior class, just trying to get this class, this incoming class a little bit better and up to scratch to be able to compete in our conference, because it is a pretty tough conference. Well, mostly junior year. So we start to evaluate junior year. We start to reach out, shoot our recruiting packet that has all the intel of the financial aid, all that good stuff that the parents and the kids need to know about. And so from there, after we evaluate you, we shoot the recruiting packet. We bring you onto campus. That's a big part for us. I think is bringing you onto campus and showing you what LaGrange has to offer, because like you said, not many people know about LaGrange, and so coming onto LaGrange campus, figuring out what it has to offer, and then kind of making your own assumption and decisions from there.
Okay. Now you mentioned, financial aid and that sort of thing. Always of interest to folks is what that final bill is going to look like. I know you guys are Division III, so you don't have to worry about athletic money, but can you just give me a basic general overview of what, tuition, financial aid, and all that kind of looks like at LaGrange?
Yeah, so at LaGrange, people, see the overall price and see 46 for this current year. And that's kind of that's the glaring factor that people look at and say, Coach, is that what I'm going to be paying? Coach, is that what I'm going to be paying? And then even the parents ask it. But you have to realize that at a Division III, where the academic package is very, very competitive, that is hardly ever what you're going to be paying. So obviously, in-state versus out-of-state residents, those things factor in. But 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, that overall amount is definitely going to go down.
Sure. No, that makes sense. Well, going back to recruiting then. So when you're looking at juniors and then even seniors, what are some of the tournaments that are kind of a must attend on your list, and how do camps figure into your recruiting as well?
So again, this year was pretty late in the process. Started roughly about September, October, after I got my feet under the table here at LaGrange. So I was able to attend the Disney, was able to attend a couple showcases over Thanksgiving. And that was kind of really where the recruiting process started to pick up. So late to the ball game this year, but hopefully for next year, we've already started our class of 23. We wrapped up our class of 22 on Monday. So again, was pretty late. That's the JUCO background in me, always recruiting up until the very last minute. And so wrapped up the recruiting class on Monday, and now looking forward to building our 23 class and ahead with our 22s.
Okay. Uh, Camps, do you guys host any? Do you work at any other schools? How do camps kind of figure into everything for you guys?
So this year, no camps. But for me, attending a lot of the camps, going to exact camps, attending a lot of different schools, camps, if the invitation is there, always willing to work, the club camps that some coaches go to. So camps is a big part of our recruiting. If you're going to camps, you're emailing us identifying you, seeing if you're a right fit for our program. And then again, that's kind of an initial start of a recruiting process for us. And so once you do attend the camps, that's how we can start our recruiting process from there.
Okay. So when you mentioned recruits reaching out and whatnot, what are some of those things you like to see in that first contact from a recruit?
So again, going back to, not many people know about LaGrange College. So something specific to the school, whether it's you've watched us play, whether it's you've done a little research online, whether it's you've done the research of the coach, the program, some of the young ladies that have attended, and so just doing the research, and then specifying your email to us, to maybe it's just a general fact about the school again. And then what I look for in emails is, have you included some of the right stuff? So the film, your position, what you're looking to major in, and that's a big one too. If you're emailing me about a major we don't have, then I'm afraid that has to go in the trash box.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Well, when okay, so you've received a contact, you've watched a highlight video, you've gone to the Disney tournament or somewhere else and seen a player. So what is your kind of hierarchy of things you're looking at for a player, whether that's on the field or off the field? What kind of ticks the boxes for you as a coach?
We all have our speed of play, touch, technique. A big one for me is the thought process of the game. Do you understand the predicaments that you're meant to be in, why you're in them? So just the overall IQ of the game for me is a big one. We've touched on it, a lot with our program, in trying to improve the IQ of the young ladies that are already here. And so, our recruiting, we've recruited high intelligent IQ players that are going to come in, and therefore we all have to be on the kind of the same page. And so the IQ is a big one. Good character, good grades, to go along with a few stuff. And then obviously the athletic part, are you strong? Are you good? Are you physical? Do you have a good touch? All that good stuff.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the school a bit then. Obviously you've only been there a year, but kind of give me the inside scoop about what's cool about LaGrange. What am I not going to click around and learn on the website that you can share with everybody about the school?
The people, the community, just the staff that are here, the student athletes that are here, the students that are here, just everyone in the community. It's a very, very tight-knit community, to where you're coming into campus and you're not just one of the numbers, so to speak. Again, it's a tight-knit group, small school, but not, what I tell recruits is, not small enough that you're going to see everybody every day like high school, but you will see them, a couple of times a week. And for me, it makes you feel a part of something. It makes you feel part of the community, and special about about what you're here to do at LaGrange.
Okay. So you guys are how far from Atlanta are you guys? Are you to the southwest?
About an hour
About
15,
an hour. Yeah.
depending on how you drive. Some make it an hour 15, an hour 30. So,
Right.
and then
But
not getting stuck in that traffic, of course.
kind of right near that Alabama border, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So about 45 minutes away from Auburn University. About an hour to an hour
Okay.
15 away from Atlanta.
Okay.
So that's kind of the geographic location, and then 30 minutes from Columbus.
Okay. Well, I grew up in Columbus, but a different Columbus. So we went, but so in terms of the academic side of things at the school, how do your student athletes balance, their studies and their sport commitments?
Very, very well. Very, very well. I would say that, this, again, the faculty that we have, the staff that we have, do a very, very good job of communicating, across the board, and making sure that, if we do have an athletic event that the students have covered, the students can go, maybe before or after, their event, and take the test if they need to. So again, we send out here weekly emails of all travel rosters, just to make sure that we're all up to date with that, to make sure the faculty are up to date with that, and make sure that there's no kind of gray area of, should this person be in class, shouldn't this person be in class.
Okay. Can you walk me through what a typical week would look like during the season, in terms of, players waking up, what class, when's practice, when's eating, all that kind of stuff, just kind of a base level. I know, and if there is such a thing as an average week during the season, but you know what I'm saying.
Constantly changing.
Yeah.
I would say that. So on average, about 8 a.m. Is class start time, about 8, 9 a.m. Going up until sometimes 12. Some of the young ladies go all the way up until 2. Some have labs on the day. which can go to 3, 4. Obviously, with breaks in between, time to go to the cafeteria, eat, do what's needed to do, sometimes relax, a little downtime. We usually start our training sessions about 4, or if the men's team practice, then what we'll do is we'll go about 6 or sometimes even 7. So we do have lights that we can turn on, go underneath the lights, which is a nice feature to sometimes get that atmosphere of not only practicing underneath the lights, but playing underneath the lights. And so we like to do that sometimes. And so it's just kind of that's the day for us. So class in the morning, usually practice in the afternoons, and then if we have time, throw in a study hall. Obviously, if we practice at 6 o'clock at night, we're not making the young ladies go from study hall from 10 to 9 or 9 to 10. Sorry, that's a little bit absurd. So we just kind of again work around the schedule that we have here.
Okay. What does your kind of travel radius look like, when you're going away to games and things? How does that factor into missing classes, et cetera?
So we usually try to make it either a day trip or one day. So again, we're not missing a lot of class times. I think our furthest travel last year was Berea, Kentucky, and so we was able to do that. Obviously in a day. We stayed the day before, played, and then came back. And so it was on a weekend too, so not many missed class times. So that does kind of geographically factor in. If we're going to Kentucky, we try to make that. You're trying to schedule that on the weekend. If we're going to Mississippi, again, try to schedule that, on a weekend.
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned, I think I drove through Berea just a couple days ago on my long trek up and down 75. So, well, let's talk a little bit more about the soccer side of things. Is there, well, I guess it's kind of a mix of soccer and recruiting, but do you have an ideal roster size that you try to have each year that you're trying to get to?
Yeah, this year is 30. So I won't go over that. 30 is the magic number for us. For us, that's just a good number with the coaching staff size that we have, just making sure that everyone can be evaluated. And then again, if you're, bringing in players for the right reasons, 30 is more than enough to rotate within a 16, 17 game schedule, including the preseason games, that can sometimes go to 20, 21, and then obviously with the postseason games. For me, that's enough. You do have some higher end of the rosters that go to 35, 40. Again, I think for me, 30 is more than enough.
Okay. In terms of soccer staff, do you have any assistants or anything like that? How does that factor in?
So currently just me. We're working on, getting staff in, possibly, an assistant or possibly a GA, but more towards the realms of bringing in an assistant, and then kind of building a relationship from there that we can, work together over the next few years to kind of build this program.
Okay. In terms of, your style of coaching and the team style of play, how would you describe that?
So my style of coaching, I'm a hands-on coach, but then again, I let the players, make the decision, all in the realms of what we're looking to accomplish within the program. And so ultimately, if you're making decisions and you're making, choices that they ultimately end up wrong, but they're for the right reasons. And so again, within that kind of structure of what we're looking for in the program, working towards our goal, I'm happy with that. And I'm happy with players making that decision. Is when, if you have certain players that step outside of what we're looking to overall accomplish, not making, I wouldn't say the right decisions, but decisions based within that structure, then that's when we kind of have an issue and have a problem. I'm the navigation. I have a quote and saying that I'm the navigation system. The ladies put in the hard work, and so for me, that's kind of what I, structure and base the program on. Is I'll give you the right tools and necessary to be successful, but ultimately you have to put in the hard work.
Absolutely. Well, we're talking here in June, so I'm sure the kids are gone, but what, in terms of an off-season program, the non-traditional season, what did that look like for you here in your first year at LaGrange?
So for us, first year at LaGrange, we started the strength and conditioning, and so some of the young ladies weren't exposed to that from the previous regime. So they're exposing them to that, exposing them to kind of the high level, training to expect was something that we worked on again in the spring, and then development of the IQ, the IQ again was something that we nailed in the spring. So whether it was from a coaching standpoint, walking them through certain situations, whether it was from a coaching standpoint, creating PowerPoints so that the young ladies know where to be, how to do, what to do. But we really worked on that.
Okay. Well, we've covered a lot of ground here, Coach. But I always end this the same way and kind of give you the last word. What didn't we cover? What else would you like folks to know about your program, about the school, or anything else?
It's just a special place to be at this current time, with a lot that's going on around the school and the program. The community again has come together, and so it's a special place to be, a special place to really thrive, do better, work hard, just to be a part of something special, ultimately something that's bigger than just a number, being bigger than just yourself. And so anyone who's interested in not only being a part of the women's soccer program, but also looking into colleges, LaGrange is a great college to attend.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the time, Coach. We wish you the best of luck in the upcoming fall season. We'll make sure we keep an eye and see how you guys do over there in the USA South. And like I said, wish you the best of luck, and we appreciate the time.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.